one more.
I'm like, I'm willing to do it. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, how do I put that as?
Yeah, we don't wanna accidentally.
So how do we judge that? And like, it's kind of like you be a little.
That is a question.
And just to end on this and it ended on the other thing. Okay.
I was guessing that was the case, but it's all about. Thank you. All right, what's that? Well, thanks, man. And. Oh, nice. How's that going? Like really well? You decide. I think we know we like to do our politics. All right, cool. But as you know, we still have to do the things and all the stuff. Make sure everything looks good and come to terms. Hopefully they do. If they don't, we got to. Is it the person that talks about? You did, but I'm saying one person. All right, I guess we'll find out later. I don't wanna blow it. Good news is I think we're close to hire. I grew close to hire. Well, that's cool.
So good.
No, it's more that I gave Judy the promoter something
How are you?
I know, Hey Jeannie, just to let you know, I'm trying to promote you to a panelist if you're gonna attend this, okay.
Yeah.
To attend the board meeting, Katie, you're perfect, thank you. To attend the board meeting virtually, Jeannie, I need you to accept being a panelist.
We're just working along. I was.
Okay, she's smart. Thank you, Jeannie.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you guys wanna move up to the table, move on
We've
up.
got
ahead.
3 seats here,
Just,
2 seats over here. We're small enough, but I think everybody can sit at the table. Unless nobody wants to sit next to me. Aww. Sadie,
All is well, all is well. Okay. All right, guys, thanks for bearing with us.
Mayor or Jeremy, you would like to come up? We have seats up here. All right.
Okay, I'm
Just don't throw anything at us, okay?
Awesome. Okay, so thanks for bearing with us. We were running a little late this morning, so I'm gonna go ahead and call to order the Business and Community Promotion Board, Monday, November 18th at 2:07 p.m. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do roll call for our board members. And so I'm gonna start online. Katie Yard.
Present.
And then we got Jeannie Kim.
Present.
Thank you. And Steve.
Here.
And Lindsay. Here. and Sarah, and Lance. Awesome, okay. Oh, and Andy, you're here too. I've been with Andy all day. I just forgot, he's here all day. All right, wonderful, guys.
Glad you're Max with me today.
That's right. So I will go ahead and move on to a, motion to approve the agenda. I have a second. All right. All in favor? All right, and then I would, any questions on the minutes that went out for the October 21st meeting? Those were sent and attached to your packets, as well as sent out after the meeting on the 21st. Any questions? Okay, I need a motion to approve the minutes. Okay, I need a second.
Second.
All right, all in favor? All right, okay, this is the section for public comment. Now, we haven't had this section in here before, so normally we do our roundtable kind of at the end, open floor section. How would you like me to handle and administer this section? The official, any, okay, cool. Is there anybody that has any official public comment that they would like to bring forth at this time?
I do have one thing,
Sure, yes, please.
and this is actually on behalf of one of my family members. I don't know if this is still going on, but they have expressed their concern with the bike trails that bikes are doing maintenance in the sidewalks and the walking paths, so. You know, sometimes you have to fix something on your mountain bike. So I'm just gonna throw that out there and so I can let them know that I threw that out there.
That is in the mountain park, actually.
It's
On the
on,
trails.
it's like if you're, from the Courtney Cooper Riley Park on the side, on the sidewalks that I will understand are officially part of the greenway right
Yes, that's
there.
right, yep.
And so this is like, you know, when you're walking your dogs and you have to dog the bike, so I think the ask would be to help to encourage the mountain bikes if they need to mess with their bike or do something to move it into the grass and out of the walking path. That would be, yes.
Perfect. All right, any other public comment? All right, do we have any conflicts of interest on stuff we're gonna be voting on today? No. All right, first thing we're gonna talk about is my director report. So y'all got that. We went through, a lot has happened since we've met. We've had a couple of mini committee meetings on the newly declared holiday ramble weekend. So there's a lot of conversation in the director's report, mainly around that and all of the different things that are kind of going into. Most of the director's report is focused on that. So I'm gonna kind of gloss over all that and let us talk about that specifically in old business, as we're gonna kind of hammer through that stuff. But we had a really successful trunk or treat event. It went really, really well. We had a lot of great community engagement. First time with Carlson Across the Highway. We were able to kind of structure it so it felt very connected. Got really good feedback from the school on it. I think every business that participated and all the nonprofits and the public services all had a really great time. It was very successful. I think the only thing that was kind of a feedback point was just, again, you know, figuring out a way to make it, extend it into something that is a little bit more community. And it's a balancing act because you can't really promote it forward facing for the community because it's a safety situation for the elementary school, that it's designated as the elementary school event. So trying to figure out if there's like, maybe next year we want to do like a partner event that ends after, starts after the trunk or treat street ends. But definitely that's kind of the complexity. Everybody was like, oh, it would be so cool for it to be longer and be more of a carnival. And it's like, there's a balancing act there between trying to figure out the best way to do that while respecting Carlson needs it to be a secure event for Carlson. So there's that. I I think everybody knows that the land exchange ballot measure passed successfully. Although the mayor has remarked several times that it actually passed on a pretty narrow margin, so there's still a lot of work to do on community engagement around that piece, making sure everybody understands what that was and what the next stages and phases of that project need to be. We had our first scheduled community conversation on November 7th, or on November 7th, that was rescheduled. That is now this Thursday, the 21st at Tommyknockers. That'll be the downtown focused one. So the first one we ended up hosting was the East End focused one down at the yards. We had over 70 attendees. So thank you for many of you that were there.
I just want to say, if you didn't go to it, it was really, really well done. You guys did a great job of presenting. And the other notable thing that blew me away is like, you always, in the past years, we've had these, and there's always been high anxiety and stress and some pretty hot conversations. And this one was very well done, kind, courteous professionals, like to say, people behave themselves, questions were asked, and they actually clapped. You know, when somebody got done speaking, it would be like hisses, and this year it was like, even for the Argo project, the Trails projects, where normally there'd be a bunch of negativity, there was not there. Great.
And the feedback was great. Like, I felt like the comments made were valuable to what we're trying to do, so.
I had someone in the store yesterday who was there said, after the election, going to that was like really heartwarming.
Oh,
Because, you know, we had different ideas, we totally agree lots about things, but it was like.
No, it totally felt like a little Hallmark movie or something. No, it was fun.
Yeah, it was nice to all feel like come together. I was, for those that were there, not there, I was really nervous. I mean, if you've been to these, Steve and I and Lindsay have all been to many where they've been brutal. And I'm like, oh, I just really didn't have the space to get yelled at. And so it was really nice to feel like how kind everybody was and how excited everybody was. So we're gonna continue that energy into the meeting this Thursday. We do, however, know that the downtown meetings are almost always a little bit more challenging and a little bit more stretching because we're bringing up hotter, more contentious topics to prep the board and the group. There's quite a bit of loud mumblings on Facebook about paid parking right now, and people that are prompting people to go to the downtown meeting to complain about paid parking and to complain about where the money is going, and that the money is going places that it's not going. And so just knowing that, you know, there's a lot of Facebook talk right now prompting people to come to the meeting on the 21st to voice their unhappiness with the program. So we'll see how that all shakes out. We all find that sometimes those are keyboard warriors and they don't always translate to coming into the actual meetings, but just knowing that hopefully the meeting this Thursday continues with a nice positive, and I will start it just like I did at the other one, really focusing the importance of being respectful and hearing everyone's voice and making sure people understand that the more we come with solutions, the better we all do together. I wrote a letter for support for the early childhood financing. So that kind of came from my official position, just so you guys are understanding. Minor Street is mostly cleanup. I've had a lot of business feedback about asking when the rest of the stuff is going to be moved off of Minor. All the parking spaces in front of Citizens Park are still occupied by black black planters, and then there's still several, I think 2 picnic tables that are still on the street blocking parking as well. And then just again, a kind reminder from everybody that I talk to, asking when and ever are we going to get rid of the things that say do not enter, finding a better way to make the one-way sign more friendly, less stay away from us, more less off-putting, more friendly. That's everybody's, you know, going around checking in with everybody. Everybody's like, hey, great, when are we gonna make it more inviting? So just continued questions on that, but just mainly also the parking spaces. I think we're out 5 or 6 parking spaces on Minor right now, that are still taken up by Public Works stuff. So there's that. Like I said, I'm gonna gloss over the holiday ramble stuff and deal with that when we talk about it. The last thing is the garland and light pole decorating. I'm also gonna just disregard that until we get to that part of the section. Is there anybody that had any specific questions for me on what I've been doing since the last month? If you haven't been paying attention to me. Okay, cool. All right, so then we're gonna move on to old business. I'm gonna have Andy give us a brief update on where we are on budget.
Sure. We have our final budget discussion tonight on the proposed 2025 budget. We did get the presentation from Sadie and the requests for budget items related to taking on more as a city with business and community promotion and a forward-facing marketing program. So those items are in the proposed budget, and I know they have council support, but we'll just be talking about one more look at the budget tonight. So we have the director position in the budget for next year on the community promotion, and also the program to do the marketing that we've been talking about. So those are both in the community promotion. So the budget's formally adopted on the first meeting in, I think, on the 9th of December, I think. But this is our last meeting to make any final changes to it. I anticipate really substantive changes.
Any questions on the budget or anything you want to bring up on that piece? All right. So we kind of already covered the community engagement meetings, but I wanted to open up this section. Board feedback wise, is there any suggestions for the meeting on Thursday? Do it differently? You know, thoughts on also the feedback that went out. So everybody saw my meeting notes. We've committed to a survey, which we're not going to do until after this meeting. I feel like one survey, but that was something I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on. Should we do an East End survey and a downtown survey? So just kind of thoughts on maybe what your guys are thinking, suggestions. Steve?
I was actually thinking about the budget thing, sorry.
Oh, go back.
There's
Let's
a
go back.
240 plan for community engagement, or what do you call it, for the budget for marketing, right?
Right, yes.
What if they say no?
You mean the city council?
just votes against it.
Oh,
I don't think that's gonna, okay.
I was like, they haven't given me
I
any
can't
indication.
guarantee it, but the way things work, Steve, is we go to work sessions. We've been talking about this for 6 months.
Right.
And there are no guarantees, but as well as you know, typically the way it works is these things get discussed at work session. We've had several work session meetings. You know, Sadie's now on board. They've embraced having her in on this interim position. They've already talked about making it an ongoing position, continuing into next year. And then as far as the strategy with putting more money towards a forward-facing marketing program, the way I read it and the mayor reads it, there seems to be general support of that. So is it possible? Yes, I
If something like this, if they say, no, we're not gonna approve 240, do you negotiate a different number, or?
Now, when you say 240, you mean the total amount?
Yeah,
Additional?
$240,000, I think, isn't that what the?
I don't think, again, I just don't think that's gonna happen. I mean, again, I can't guarantee it, but I mean, again, the way we do the budget is very, progressive and going through work sessions and meetings.
Yeah, they've been extraordinarily supportive and really understanding what we're asking for, and really grateful for the amount of engagement so far. And I think by approving this board, I think they understood that approving this board also came along with increasing the budget for this board to do a little bit more.
What's your concern on it, Steve?
Well, I just know how the process works, more like, if they say that's way too much, we can't approve that because we can use the money somewhere else, kind of like it's happened with other projects.
Yeah, we haven't heard that, Steve, I guess is what I'll just say it another way. We haven't heard that from the board, that, we don't know if that's gonna work.
Because of the water main project that came up that took some of the budget money away.
Well, that's a little different situation because we have different funds. This is out of the general fund. That's a specific fund going to utility work. So,
So the water and the sewer fund is paid by your water sewer bills and by that 1% sales tax. So we can't intermingle funds from general to water
Enterprise
wastewater or go
funds, is that-
backward.
it's an
for-
enterprise
So
fund.
it won't keep away.
If I may, I just want to say this 269,508 is more than double where we were at about 140,000. And to Steve's point about other needs within the city, he's spot on that I don't think you're going to see a lot of pushback from council for this reason. This is a case of spending money to make money. And so for the first time, you know, we're trying something different. And frankly, I believe this 100%. If this is successful and we spend some money and we end up bringing in additional sales tax, I would actually look for this to increase yet again, probably next year. I believe there isn't anything as infectious as success. And I think we can prove this and not only prove it, but I'd like for you to consider this initial budget is taking care of things that we never had before, like a full-time marketing person and a PR firm. And I share this with you because we don't have to reinvent the wheel. If we have an increase in the budget, because we have a proof in concept, then most of any increase can directly go to marketing and not, you know, hire another staff or get an online presence or something that we've already taken care of in this round. So anyways, I just wanted to share that with you. And that's why, yes, we do have other pressing needs, but I don't think council is going to come off this.
And Sadie, am I right? Part of this ask for 2025 is a one-time ask to get us up and running with this marketing and.
Yep, so there is,
Website.
yeah, so there is part of the budget that I went in asking for one-time ask that I would not be a reoccurring high value, and that's mainly for the purchase or development of a website, right? So however, we all know there will be ongoing costs, and we also want to continue to increase our marketing budget and our events budget. We do know that that part is not going to be that same level of financial ask upfront.
So we're waiting, like, this is the 2025, so that's why we don't have a marketing person yet, is because we're waiting for the approval.
Well, I mean, I'm your marketing person, so you do have me.
But with the,
Oh, you mean the
website
PR?
building, yeah, like, so, cause it's two positions, right? It's you working with the city and then it'll be someone else, right?
Well, yeah, the PR, the marketing
Okay.
firm, yeah. So we can tell you that we have been having initial conversations with that company and getting all of the groundwork laid so that when we do get the green light, we're like
Okay.
ready to go, hitting the ground running, as well as Kent has been doing a ton of work on the back end for us as well. So we're positioned to, like, as soon as we get the ready to go, we're ready to start going. But yeah, we've been kind of like cart before the horse situation, just kind of waiting to make sure we're not making financial decisions without the budget to
Okay,
back it
good.
up. Yep.
Timeline on
All right. Good on budget. All right, back to community conversation meetings. Any suggestions or constructive criticism for that?
it. I think one survey.
One
I
survey.
think one survey.
If you attended the Easton, you know, if there's one place specific. You attended the downtown.
And we've done this survey before, because this is a common topic, it comes up often, like, how do you actually get the word out?
Yeah.
And, because there's no really good way, because not everybody reads the Current, not everybody listens to Cato. Not everybody, you can't there's no digital sign, a good place for it. So mailer sometimes works, but a lot of people just go right to trash.
Yeah.
So I think it's a combination of different things to try to reach people, but there's not a silver bullet.
You did a good job. We were recording everything, right? The QR code was getting all that.
Yep, so we have a full list of attendees, the ones that would sign up for it. using the QR code was a learning thing because reading people's handwriting is not supportive to me. And we still ended up with people putting in fake email addresses or mistyping their email addresses. I still got a decent amount of kickback off of that particular one, but we did get new emails to our list, which is good. So we now have almost 300 emails that are opening. Our open rate is at 75%, which is pretty impressive for a click-through rate on an email. So of that, almost 300, 75% of those 300 people that I'm emailing are opening it. So that's pretty good. I'm continuing to work on refining that list and making sure that we have correct emails for everybody, that everybody that needs to be getting these, hence why getting emails from everybody, I took out all my duplicates essentially. So net gain off of the community conversations meeting, I only added 10 new emails to that list that were successful. There was 13 new emails, but 3 bounced back immediately. And we did have people refusing to sign in and sign up as well. They didn't get a drink ticket. Sad for
There are
them.
consequences.
Don't sign up, no drink ticket for you. So that worked out. Okay, so one survey, hear that. Okay, I'm gonna have Tara talk briefly about all the amazing progress we've made on the holiday ramble weekend. Tell everybody what we're doing.
So holiday ramble weekend, the specifics that I know the most about and have been working on is the bike parade, so that's on the 1st. I guess I'll say what I do know about Small Business Saturday. So the club is gonna be hosting Santa from 3 to 5. Forgive me if I say some of this wrong, it's in all of our notes too. The reindeer are TBD.
Nope.
We got the reindeer,
Yep.
perfect.
He says he's gonna bring the regular guy. I told him I wanted ones with antlers. He said he'd bring me ones with antlers.
So I will talk about it.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
So we'll have carolers, so that's basically what we've done in the past, but just a little more elevated, so that's kind of fun. And then Sunday, the mistletoe market is gonna be over at the Argo, that's from 10 to 5, I believe.
10 to 4, but yeah.
10 to 4, okay. And then there's gonna be a bike parade following that, which will be really fun. The rec center at the last Argo event had kind of like a comments thing, and one thing that came up was they wanted a bike parade. So in order to kind of connect that market with the businesses, the concept was that would be a nice way to show that everything is pretty close by, connecting Comba. Steve has offered to host the end of that. So it'll start at the Argo, it'll go down Riverside around, and we'll say hi to the East End. And I was even gonna maybe talk to Katie about having people jump in there, because then people could, get a beer and with the Comba Connection sort of like combine in if people aren't over at the Argo Market. So the rec center is sponsoring it. They are going to do the sign up system. I think Jen was gonna be here, but
She's on
oh, perfect. So she might have more information. With that, there will be a waiver just because it is towards the evening. The concept is that you decorate your bike with lights, but just having that many people out, we don't want anyone to, be injured, and they need to know what they're signing up for. So we'll go past the East End, past the yards, past City Hall, over to look at the water wheel, over to say hi to the rec center because they're sponsoring, and then we'll end at Tommy Knockers, and that's where the prizes for that day will also be announced and given away. There will be drinks and several vendors all throughout the day, including the rec will have a tent and like a DIY decorate your bike thing. I think that's it. I know that there's a lot of vendors, and so we're looking for more like attendees. So if you want that Idaho Springs Hallmark Christmas energy, it's gonna be there, but we do, I think, we don't want it to be one of those where there's more vendors than attendees.
Couple of things that we're doing on that note, and Mary Jane can speak to it a little bit as well, and she's on. we're doing a TV, Argo is doing a TV spot. Mary Jane, that's promoing when?
Actually, oops. Can you guys hear me?
Hear you.
Okay, I'm just getting another call in. That's promo, they did the spot, as you know, last week, and they're running it again Thanksgiving morning. And then they're doing a live on-site filming on the 27th, the day before Thanksgiving. And we'll be pushing the 30th and the 1st for Idaho Springs.
Yeah, so we will have, and that's on 31 in Denver. So that'll be good, as well as we are doing current Facebook ads. So our social is currently running a holiday ramble Facebook ad that is promoting the event. Clear Creek Tourism has graciously built us a landing page. So we do have a website where people can go to get information. It's up on Clear Creek's events tab, as well as it's on the city events tab on the city's website. So we are working on some of those things. All businesses got a social packet. So it has all of our social assets. Club has been posting about it. So if you're interested and you haven't gotten those social media assets from me and you want to post about the holiday ramble weekend, couple things that Tara didn't bring up. We'll be doing a ramble card. I think we're pretty much filled up on the ramble card. I think we might have 1 or 2 spots left on it. Sorry, I have to find it in my many things of notes. It's similar to, we've tried like the punch cards before. So a similar thing on the back will be all the businesses with their potential discount or with the discounts they're offering. There'll be 6 punches. There's way more than 6 offers on the back of this card. So that way there's variety. They can go to different places. They don't have to go to all of the places. They can kind of eclectically pick what fits them. The businesses will be given a hole punch so that when people come and redeem their offer, they get a punch. When all the punches are filled, they can turn this into any participating business and they get entered to win Idaho Springs prize pack. And we actually have a pretty nice prize pack shaping up right now. Club has donated a night stay. Tommy Knockers has donated some really nice gift cards. We have some Hot Springs donations. Local businesses have also donated gift cards. So it'll be a pretty nice Idaho Springs gift pack that you get entered to win. We also will be collecting email addresses on these ramble cards so that people will then, we're building our marketing lists as well, so that when we get into doing blogs or newsletters or those kind of things, we'll have a marketing list versus a business communication list as well. So all the participating businesses will have these in their businesses starting, probably we'll get them out before Thanksgiving, and then they'll start that weekend. So run the whole week.
Sadie, I just want to interject here too, that they're also producing a spot for me that's going to be run, not just the interviews, but the TV spots where we can mention this as well. So I should have the schedule of that when I get back into town.
Yeah, and I've been communicating, Mary Jane, just so you know, Ike has all the information on the holiday ramble card stuff already set for you.
Good. Yeah, that's great. We're working it.
It does have dates on it. So on the, it's valid only
Yeah.
for that weekend. And we do, some of the businesses have also placed like, you know, at your next visit or something like that. Like $10 off your next visit has an offer from someone. So how they track that is up to them.
Is it too late to get onto that?
No, it's not too late
Okay.
to get on there. So if you want to send me, I have a couple of spots available. So if you want to send me whatever.
Emailed you.
Yes, perfect.
And
Yeah.
all of that can be updated on that webpage, so I was looking at your notes, so I can update some of the times and things that were given, and then you wanna send me a JPEG of that?
Yes.
And I can do a little cute teaser on that with some of the participating businesses, and then we can push that.
Excellent. Yeah. And then I'm also going to do a social graphic specifically for participating businesses. Hey, I'm participating in the holiday ramble, bring your ramble card in, enter to win. So I'll do some social assets for you guys as well. And again, we tried to figure out a way, but we're just going to let all participating businesses collect the completed ones. And then after we'll we'll rally them together, and then award the prize for this. The other prizes that Tara is talking about, those are specifically for the bike parade prizes, and the prizes that are coming out of the mistletoe market.
So when is that, gonna be due?
I don't know the answer to that question. I won't be back in town, till like Wednesday after, so I'll be gone for almost a week. So if somebody, either you or Lindsay, wanna take a head on just pulling us.
So to make the, post bike parade event successful, we started off with, I heard there was gonna be a ribbon given out for everybody who registered. So then I was thinking redeem that ribbon at places like Tominac, because we don't have to be the only place, of course. And they get a free something, like I was thinking it was the sample of beer. It could be mead, it could be Two Brothers, something. It doesn't have to be just Tominacers, but is there gonna be an event, they need like a microphone, or are you giving away stuff inside? I'm trying to figure out how the event looks.
Well, yeah, I don't have a lot of information on that. I did think that maybe we were giving out more prizes, was my understanding. So we can have it just, maybe a microphone to be like, thanks for coming. This is what you can't, just to remind people, but then have it be more like open-ended social, eat something, be warm type situation.
Was we can do free hot chocolate for people, and then I'll get you some gift cards too for prizes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Free sampler beer, and because we can host other businesses in Tominac if they want to. Because I thought they'd be coming up Main Street, so I thought it'd be a good place to end on that end of town, because they're running the street, but if they come in the other direction, just trying to make it successful.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we were kind of struggling with the route just because we didn't want it to be super long, and we also wanted it to be super safe. So it's like, instead of, I feel comfortable with just coming and landing at Tommyknockers, and then if people do want to disperse, but I don't know if that
I
is.
think the only problem spot is going across 13th and 103.
And then we did send, and the police chief was open, I believe, to helping us out with that, and then we also were looking for volunteers for flaggers. But I think there's 3 crossings, so it would be, basically at 103 and then over here to coming back from the wreck, that intersection, and then coming across Colorado to come here. So yeah, I mean,
And is there gonna be a designated bike parking outside Tommyknockers,
that's-
or like where people should park
We'll
to
have
come in?
bike racks up front that
Okay.
we made, so we'll reserve like 3 parking spots. That's, I'm asking, I guess. In
I think
front.
we're gonna have a big turnout, honestly.
I
I
hope so.
think we're,
I'm
I
really
think it's gonna be
excited about it.
successful, yeah.
So maybe if we have the handicap across the street and there's a bigger sidewalk in the senior center area, and I can get
Yeah.
approval for that.
And also on the other side, on that side of your
West
business,
side.
the west side, there's a little space there for,
So I'll put bike racks that we're making right now, they're kind of cool. Put those in the building, 2 or 3 parking spots. And of course, nobody knows how busy we'll be with regular customers that day, but if it's like we've had plenty of room. People come in, it's slow.
I guess we could go a minor. We were really just trying to make it like super safe.
Want to include the rec center, I understand, but
Right.
it seems kind of like a big.
Yeah. And we didn't want to have to be like
Maybe,
closing the street and all that, so it's like.
yeah, could the rec center set up a booth? Down, and so you're not taking people up to the rec center?
Jen? can you
Oh,
hear us?
hi Jen.
hey, Jen.
They could do valet bike parking.
Yeah, actually, that's a good idea.
I don't know if she's busy or what's
Put a
good.
tent right in
And we
front of
don't
the-
have to cross the water wheel, but I just thought that would be so cool, because it's like so close, and maybe not everyone knows that. I mean, we would be landing on Minor. We could also go to Citizens Park and then know that the after party is at Tommyknockers.
I think ending up at Tommyknockers is fine.
What about, would it be too far away to have the bike racks in front of the hose house there for this event? And that way you've got a place that's not taking up parking spaces, it's pretty close. I guess, some might worry about security, but.
I was gonna say you'd have to have a good option for people to lock their bikes up and.
Just a thought, then you
Yeah.
don't have to take up parking spaces. Steve, what kind of, business do you think you're gonna have from the end of the holiday weekend? Any thoughts on that?
Well, it's picking up a little bit and you just don't know. I mean, I have no idea. It's been slow season right now. But, I think, I'm willing to take the 2 spots right in front of the building because that's what people actually want, is to be able to see their bike
Okay.
while they're doing it. Having the bike over there will work for some people, but if you have a nicer bike or you're worried about it, you're not gonna want to do that.
I feel good about the route right now. Look for this year,
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be good to test it, see how it, see how, and also
Yeah.
we'll know how much participation
Right.
we're gonna get and understanding if we need to expand it. So I feel like we've gotten pretty far on being able to expand this event, add a little bit extra to it. There's a pretty detailed timeline in the director's report that really talks through when is everything. The main thing we'll need to do to define the PA system
Where's that piece gonna be?
at Club Hotel.
Mayor? Did you locate the PA system that one weekend?
If it has not been already to City Hall, I'll get it.
Okay, so, we'll just need to get that to Tara, or to Lana at Club. Either way, just make sure
For Santa.
for
Okay.
Santa and
I'm
reindeer.
also gonna make sure that it's working.
Yeah, that would be
Because
awesome.
when we did loan it out, it was with the qualification, you might wanna test this first, because we hadn't used it in many months.
Yes, that's.
But I will get it and I'll make sure that it's in working order.
So the Santa and the PA system, he's speaking in the PA system?
The mayor is speaking
Okay.
into the PA system.
Santa Claus is not coming.
No, Santa has no speaking except for
Okay.
2 children.
Those are secrets.
Yeah, Santa is filled with secrets.
Are we
So,
getting the word out through the school district too, specifically the bike? I'm thinking kids would wanna decorate their bikes. We could send something out through you guys.
Is there a best?
So I know it didn't go out in
There
our
is,
last,
yeah.
this past Friday's update.
Okay,
who do I say that? To Tom, yeah, okay. I'll just make sure. He's on all my things, but I'll just I'll ask a specific request.
Georgetown's tree lighting, but I didn't see any of the activities here. so.
Okay, I'll send a specific one to Tom. Okay.
Hey, Sadie, this is a small thing, but Kyle has volunteered to be the bartender again if we need that. And CCCAE does have a PA system.
Okay, cool. So we have a backup one if needed.
Right, right.
Nick is gonna be providing sound for the music and event on Sunday. But in case we need a backup one for Friday or for Saturday, now we know where we have a backup one. Okay, wonderful. Last thing in old business, keep us moving along. We had wonderful participation in the Garland, order, similar to our flower orders. You all will be getting your invoices from me today. I was in interviews all morning, so it just didn't happen. But it's being delivered tomorrow. Yay, Garland, tomorrow. We do have an installation team coming to help, but Public Works has agreed to help me distribute, get everything to where it belongs. But then installation is upon us to install it, also to remove it. We do have a team who's insured and bonded, who's willing to help and be around. So a few places have already signed up for that help. Mary Jane, all your buildings are on that list, just so you know.
I see my invoice.
You are the only one that's gotten one. I got ahead of the game.
I apologize. I read that email and I dropped the ball and said, so if it's too late, it's too late.
It's too
Okay.
late,
I
yeah,
figured.
yeah, they're here next year.
Next year.
We will, however, have wreaths and ribbon on the light poles this year. So the light poles will look more like candy canes and we'll have wreaths on them this year. So that'll be nice in the downtown district. So that will be starting to get installed this year. So, yeah, and these guys, I think, are really easy to order from.
Yeah.
Share them.
Well, yeah, if it,
Family
I'm sorry to
business.
be the problem child.
Yeah, they're a local family business. Tara gave us this recommendation. They have been spectacular work. I'll share their information. They're,
Okay,
you
yeah.
can go,
Okay.
you can go pick it up. All right. All right, any questions on what was left in that information? Well, okay, we're gonna move on to new business. I'm gonna let Steve talk a little bit about this and Lindsay as well, because they were also at the meeting. But we had, and you guys have started to see, I think most of you have seen the strategic forward-facing marketing plan, that I sent out towards the beginning of this. But we had a meeting, briefly with the hopefully, new PR company, who will be working with us on a lot of these strategic initiatives. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Steve and Lindsay talk briefly about their key takeaways from that discussion and thoughts.
And I just want to insert one thing. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
I just want to insert one thing that I'm kind of test driving this whole program. Argo is committed to spending some dollars in the next couple months with them. So we're test driving for everybody.
Yeah, and then I think the main takeaway is any dollar spent with this company and this group, and this guy in particular, Ike, is gonna be well spent. He has a deep, deep knowledge of the area of Colorado, of the industry. He's unbelievable. His knowledge is great. He communicates unbelievably. And he's been Bojo's #1 marketer for many years. So he has a great relationship and he knows Idaho Springs. So it goes all the way from this marketing program to the website, which I think is the next topic. I'm not gonna go into that, but Lindsay, what's your take on it?
Yeah, no, I was beyond impressed with these guys. They're very passionate, they're very knowledgeable, and they're, as far as, where am I going with this, like ethics and whatnot, like I 100% trusted what they were saying, what they were recommending to us, and the advice that they gave to us. I trust Chip, and who Chip has worked with for many years, so I could tell that this group is definitely very passionate about our community, our area, and worked very hard for us.
Ike in particular, but I'm sure the company is so networked out there in Colorado that they have people, not just him, but people in everything you can imagine, from TV channels, radio channels, any kind of periodicals, every form of media from social on. So they're pretty much have experts in place. And he'll be first to say he's not an expert, he hires experts. So he seems like an expert to me, but I think, again, the main thing is I think any dollar there is well spent.
Yeah, I would second that.
So he's going to be kind of advising us on how to best capitalize on the increase to our budget and how to really make sure we're leveraging our dollars to be spent wisely, making sure that we have direct tie-ins to ROI so that we can report back to council our return on our investment as we committed we would do. So he has metrics. He was very excited that we have a partnership with Placer AI to be able to use that kind of metric data. He was very pleased that we have access to that information. So it was really good to be able to have him be able to say, look at kind of what I have right now as our draft strategic plan, and him be like, yeah, this is like a great way to get you guys started going in that right direction. Of course, his first conversation and topic was, where do we point people when we are marketing to them? So that will segue us into our next movement. Before I transition on that, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say one other thing when you brought up ROI, and what really impressed me about this group is, I mean, they said, we know where our clients need to be financially. We need to know what number, or we know what numbers they need to hit. If they don't hit those numbers, then we're doing something wrong. Obviously, there's lots of things that go into play, but they are so focused and data driven. So if we say, all right, city needs to hit this number in sales tax, what do we need to do to get there? That's how they're thinking about things. So it's beyond just the creative aspects of marketing, but really looking at the bottom line. And so that was a huge selling point for me as well.
Yeah, I also think the big thing that was really important is really understanding the strategic forward-facing aspect of coming and preparing for solutions, instead of being reactive, understanding, and because he's so familiar with Idaho Springs, he's very aware of the projects and the implications we're facing. So he's already thinking like, 12 steps ahead, thinking, okay, we need to have a plan. And, this would help us present, a 12-month marketing calendar so that we can know exactly when and how we're talking to our visitors and our residents. So the next steps, just so you guys are aware, is once we get the final green light on the budget, next month we'll be essentially voting on how you guys feeling about the strategic marketing plan, and voting to approve working with Ike, and you guys will get a full summary from us. He's working on kind of the things he would be including, what's not included, all of that. So we'll have a very clear scope of work, and then he and I will start working on hitting the ground running as quickly as possible on that stuff. So to transition in, based off of your guys' feedback off of our last meeting, the discussion around This Is Idaho Springs, there was a lot of feedback from that. And so you guys expressed that you wanted us to reach into our assets and to really get some expert eyes on This Is Idaho Springs to understand really the value of, is it worth it? Is it worth it for us to purchase something that's already done, that has all the things we need, that we could just flip it on and keep going? So luckily we have an expert in our community that did this for free. So thank you so much for helping us in this way. So Kent did multiple meetings with Frozen Fire, as well as with me, to kind of understand where we're at on this project, what we needed to know. In your report, you guys saw a summary of kind of what Kent and I have been talking about, but I'm gonna let him speak to what you kind of did and what your thoughts are.
All right, yeah, thanks. So just to get everybody on the same page, so before and still, other than me, my career that paid for that stuff was all programming and IT support and that kind of stuff. I built websites for the government, for private, some fairly large ones, and then a buddy of mine and I also had a company years ago. Amongst other things, we dealt with almost this exact situation many times with clients who had websites or servers or some sort of technology solution built for them that it turns out they didn't actually own, even though they thought they did. And then at some point it's falling out with the people that built it for them, and they had them over a barrel, and it was pay me $1 million, or I just take the ball and go. It's as unethical as it is common, unfortunately. And so I've had a lot of experience in this exact situation, which is fortuitous. So City asked me to look into the kind of the Frozen Fire situation from that perspective. And like she said, I met with them multiple times. And I'll give a super quick rundown, and then I'm happy to talk as much as y'all want to about it, ask any questions. But the options as I see it is basically buy their site and Sadie said, have something that can just be turned on tomorrow. And based on my meetings with them, I do trust that they do have the ability to do that, but I would also write that into any contract you do. Have some date that it has to be on by with, consequences if not. So either buy it or build a new one, or some combination of those, buy parts of it. The URL is worth something, the logo is nice, the assets might be handy. There's no reason you can't offer to buy parts of what they're offering. But basically, so as far as valuing the site as is, the package as they're offering it, which isn't just the site, it's all the assets, the logo, the pictures, the URL itself, literally just thisisidaho-springs.com as an address, the social media presence, and the SEO, the search engine optimization, which is, if anybody doesn't know, is just the work you do on the website to make it easily findable by different search engines. It's massively overvalued for what they're offering. Summing up is they don't seem to be very good at making websites. They seem to be a marketing firm that makes videos and things that then started making websites, and but I'd be a little worried that it seems very over-engineered. They talked all the time about their custom coding and stuff, and everything about the site is a pretty darn simple site. It really doesn't need, if it's been built in some site builder, there's really no reason there should be much or any custom coding. It makes me really worry that it's a mess under the hood, and it could be difficult to maintain or update in the future. The site itself is very based on extracting revenue from businesses. During my meetings with them, they talked over and over again about, oh, the top splash page, when you go to thisisidahosprings.com, you see whatever business, paid to have their advertising up there. Well, I see that approach. I'm not sure that that's exactly the goal of a community promotion website, to extract wealth from your businesses. Their search engine optimization, their SEO is old fashioned and ineffectual. I was absolutely flabbergasted. I had my jaw on the floor when they showed me what they do. It's basically nothing. It's based on creating a lot of fluff blog pieces and cross-linking, but they didn't even link to their own websites from their marketing, from their website to show, like, here's the projects we do. So it's old fashioned. They're also not doing it well. Their social media presence, I don't know that that's worth buying, that's worth even 1 cent personally. Let's see, it also seems to have a bunch of features you don't necessarily need based on my conversations with Sadie for what y'all are looking for. Seems that y'all are more focused on something that can, visitors can get some quick info about the town and nice listing of the businesses kind of categorized and what you might want to find. Kind of an online version of the mall map, or the same kind of thing that you'd see in towns. All that being said, the URL is probably, in my opinion, the most valuable thing that they're selling. Just literally, thisisidahosprings.com. Those alone can go for 20 grand sometimes, easily, if not more. But there's other URLs out there too. The logo is pretty good, but pretty easy to make another one. It'd be nice to get a bundle of assets, but I would bet that some of them are outdated. And yeah, we just may want to offer to buy parts instead of the whole. So that's kind of the buying This Is Idaho Springs one. If we built our own, or had someone build our own, I kind of went off with the assumption that we're making kind of the simple version, that it's it's a good landing page with some info about Idaho Springs, and then kind of listing the businesses and events coming up, kind of a an ever rotating list of whatever of people with their kind of what we have now, but without some of the bells and whistles that we don't need, like businesses being able to buy ads and things like that. Asked around to some local firms, and I got quotes between 10 and 20 grand, just depending on who it is and how big you wanted to do it and how bare bones you wanted it to be. It's a pretty big range. I put a quote together if I was going to personally do it for the city, and I sent it to you this morning. I don't know if y'all got it.
No, I didn't get the chance to send it out to everybody.
Okay, cool. But it's quite a bit cheaper than that. The initial site build and is, I would say, is about $2,300. The reason it's so much cheaper is there's a few reasons. You're getting a coder directly, so you're not paying like the house markup. This is like the amount that they would pay their coder that did it. And coder is actually the incorrect term, in fact, because it's not even coding, it's this drag and drop design, so it's a much lower hourly rate. So I kind of went with that kind of thing. I imagine having a very familiarity with the project, I can get it done with a minimum of back and forth with the city, which saves a lot of money. Don't accidentally build the wrong thing, that kind of thing. I have no dog in the race. I'm not like jonesing to build it. I'm happy to if that helps, but it'd be perfectly fine to go with, like you were talking about. Seems like you got some good folks, or any other local folks around would be fine.
Yeah, well, this Ike group, this Thrive, they have people, but I think they would be willing to work with anything that's a good
Yeah.
solution.
Sure, yeah, and and my quote is for building, the website, the functionality and the design of the website, not for taking pictures, not for writing
branding.
content, not for the branding, like making a logo. That would be its own thing. So that's another reason it's so much cheaper. Is any quote like this would include that kind of stuff. You know, you got two options or a combination of options in front of you. It sucks that Frozen Fire pulled this. It's unfortunately common in the industry. And another last kind of thing, you know, before I'm happy to have any back and forth or talk as much as y'all want, is any option, whether buying, this is Idaho Springs, building our own, any option for this, you need to remember that there will be ongoing costs. There will be, you know, maintenance. There'll be content creation. Like if you want to make blogs or even just updating people's hours or adding new listings for new businesses. And there'll be advertising budgets. Those are all ongoing in addition to whatever initial costs, whichever direction you go.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I'm here for any questions or thoughts.
Time frame, how long would it take?
Oh, yeah, so in my quote, I mean, honestly, it is not a complicated website. For fun, just to see, to get a feel to answer that question, I went to Wix.com. It's a pretty decent drag and drop website thing. I mean, and I custom code just from blank files websites all the times, but this would be more appropriate for a drag and drop kind of designer. You know, I mean, I just don't think it'd take me more than a week of it if I saw it, 40 hours, if I dedicate a whole week to it, which I have a day job, so I couldn't, but in terms of hours, I just don't think it'd be more than that. I quoted more than that on my quote just to be safe, no more like 60. But it's just not that complicated of a website. That's part of, especially in modern era, you know, it's part of why I question how well built theirs is, if they talk about how complicated it is, you know?
Yeah, it's not, I know I'm really outspoken on all this website stuff, and nowadays, like, I did by myself, just using Wix,
Yeah.
the CCDC website, the Delhi website, and it's really easy to do these days, so the idea of spending 20 to 30 grand, I don't even think we need to go there. My personal opinion, I think we just stop talking about Frozen Fire, this is Idaho Springs, and we move on, because I really do think they're trying to rip us off. I don't think we should, I mean, just in thinking about like what the best strategy moving forward is, we need somewhere for people to land, but I also don't want to put the cart before the horse as far as branding is concerned, because we need a brand. Excuse me, we don't want to be like hodgepodge all over the place. So I'm almost wondering if we really utilize CAS and direct to the county tourism, and maybe there's a way where she can direct specifically to more Idaho Springs related things for now, until we use our budget for the overall branding of Idaho Springs. Because obviously this is Idaho Springs brand, we're letting that go. We go through the process of figuring out really who we want to be, how we want to portray ourselves as far as design and things like that. But that's just my thought. I don't want to direct people and then we do the branding process and realize maybe it's a little, I mean, I don't know. That's just.
Well, I'll say I went into that meeting with Thrive thinking that the best decision was to pay the money to Frozen Fire because it was turnkey, we'd be on next week. And it's not that bad, all this kind of stuff. Well, they flipped me in a minute.
Yeah, and on your question, I meant to say this a second ago, but I didn't, so I apologize. I created a new Wix account and gave myself 1 hour to the dot. I set a timer from clicking file new project to see how much I could get done so I could quote it. And I got to a site that I would say it is incredibly bare bones, but it has all of the functionality that we're discussing in an hour. And so it can be done pretty quick.
But then continue with the Thrive thing, by the end of the conversation, I think I wasn't the only one in the room that had an opinion that we should buy it and go.
Yeah.
That we've all flipped and realized the details, and they've also said they could brand us like you were talking about, maybe
Yeah.
Kim, and supply all these different assets, hopefully work with someone like you,
Yeah.
and have something that would go out there by the end of December.
Yeah,
Which is a
that's
pretty good time.
incredibly
So
doable.
launching for the first year, and they said they could work within a budget that was less than that we were entertaining paying for because $2,300, if I had to throw some math at it, so let's just say it's 25 to somebody like you, then to get new photo, design and branding, like 3,000, 2,000, 5,000. You're starting to get up there just getting those other workable assets to give to you to implement. So 23 sounds like, let's do it, but there is,
Exactly,
pay someone to brand you is 5 is cheap.
exactly.
And
And I-
that's gonna be, yeah, the
Yeah.
branding process is gonna cost
Yeah.
us the $20,000+ to do.
And I will have a quote for that branding tomorrow. So I will have a branding quote from their branding team by tomorrow. She was trying to get it done for today, but she and I had some back and forth over the weekend, and she was like, it's gonna be Tuesday. So you guys will be getting an email from me kind of letting you know about that, but I'm gonna go ahead and call for, like, maybe we just wanna vote about about This is Idaho Springs thing.
What about the concept of buying, just asking to buy that URL, period, see if they.
I don't even think, we don't, it's a brand in itself, why do we need
Yeah,
it?
I agree with that.
What are you gonna use? What will be your?
Yeah, Tara.
I feel like this is like-
Not available.
So.
Well,
Idaho
yeah,
Springs-
yeah.
IdahoSprings.com and similar ones go to a website that say they don't even entertain offers less than 20
Yeah.
grand.
So IdahoSprings.com, I did just go
Nice.
recently, I don't know, 4 months ago,
Yeah.
Chamber, we asked IdahoSprings.com and he came back with 1,500 and we're like, no. And then like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, right when this was coming up, he asked me again and I said 500, he
Yeah.
didn't respond. So realistically, like, that's accessible.
Cheap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So if you want me to just reach out to him again,
Yeah, I
and
mean, that's
I
no brainer.
called him and he was like, these people, blah, blah, blah. He was like very short with me, but like, if we can buy that, that's
And
easy.
sorry, which one was it?
IdahoSprings.com.
Okay,
So in the industry, best practice is visit something. So, visit Clear Creek, visit Denver, visit Colorado Springs, visit Pueblo, visit
Yeah.
Grand. So visit Idaho Springs would be ideal. I have the handle on social.
that's right.
And then visit idahosprings.org is $10.
Yeah, I
so-
forgot you mentioned that, but that's.
But that's best
Just
practice in
showing
the industry.
But
Um, the visit idahosprings.com is not, but visit idahosprings.org is $10.
How much is
They give me
the
one
Idaho
vote.
Springs taken?
It is, they're asking $120.
That's awesome. See, I think this is in
Yeah,
a way
we
best
don't
case
know.
scenario
Yeah.
because we're building it the way we want to in a more affordable, informational format.
Okay, so I guess we'll take a vote, all in favor, so I need to. You do that, to say all in favor to not pursue This is Idaho Springs offer any further. Is that a motion or just a vote? To remove that off of our. Okay, so,
Question for you.
yeah,
So, do we want it to be, is there any reason it needs to be distinct from our city website, which is idahospringsco.com? Is that important? Because that's very close to our city website. Do we want to distinguish those two?
If
I
we're
know that-
doing visit though.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think
we're
visit.
going with,
Yeah.
Okay.
suggestion of
Most
visit.
communities will have their municipal and tourism websites separate,
And it
but
should be
very much
separate,
linked
yeah.
Right.
together,
Right.
or the tourism would be, but
I-
yeah, I visit Idaho Springs makes so much sense.
And I have, like I said, I have the Facebook already, but I'm willing just to sign it over to Sadie and let you take it, because I have all the handles for all the four municipalities. So it is a starting point.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
that's great. I mean, and that's a huge step in the right direction. I mean, mainly to get the direction that we're gonna go in, it's easier. I mean, the mayor brought up in our meeting with Thrive, the This is Idaho Springs logo is not a logo that he would feel like would be representative of who we are. So if our own mayor is looking at the logo being like, I'm not sure that this would be representative of the face we want to put out there, it doesn't have a water wheel anywhere near it, so that kind of thing, it's good to just get that as a vote. So we'll go ahead and call for a vote to move away from the This is Idaho Springs website. So I'm gonna vote online first, and we'll do a roll call vote on this, just so we get everybody's voice heard. So Katie?
We're voting to remove it.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
So
I'm
that-
for it. That's
yeah.
fine.
And then Jeannie? Okay, I'll move on. Steve? Yeah, Steve, you agree? Lindsay?
Yeah.
Tara?
Yes.
Lana? Andy?
Yes.
Okay, so we're all in favor of removing This is Idaho Springs from even being considered as an opportunity moving forward. So what I'm hearing from you guys is want to continue to explore quotes and understanding of what it would be like to build a Visit Idaho Springs website of our own.
Should your name never be mentioned again.
I agree, like, I don't like this like blackmail, yeah, no, go away.
Good job. I think y'all made the right decision. I didn't want to give an official recommendation. I just want to get info, but I think that's the right call, from what I've seen in the past.
Well, I think we're all running businesses probably with websites that are not custom coded. You know, my experience is all in WordPress, but I have that for multiple things that I'm working with. And like, I can go in and do whatever I want, whenever I want to them,
Exactly,
and they're wonderful. So like,
exactly.
And that's what we want, easy access to be able to go in, change things when we need, and
Yes.
it doesn't have to be complicated
No.
anymore, like back in the day, like you're saying, when coding was just,
Yeah.
was scary. So, yeah.
And in the interest of doing that, I'm happy to help in any way, whether it's literally building things, being a tech expert at this type of thing, or being a go-between between some contractor, whatever helps, happy to help.
Very cool. Okay, so the last two things on our agenda are kind of odd, so just pre-warning you with the kind of odd.
can we take a pause for just a second?
Yeah,
So now that we're going to do this, we're gonna build our own brand, get our own website. The timeline, the goal is to have that done by the end of the year.
I mean, I think with the support we have, I believe that that's definitely potential. I think the only things we'll need to shore up and confirm from the city's perspective is that any kind of payment or budgetary requests will need to be handled after the first of the year. Yeah,
Can we purchase the visit.com and .org just to make sure we get that within our possession?
Well, those are owned by somebody, just so you know. I just looked up visitidahosprings.com, and that is certainly owned by somebody. I did a who is lookup on it. I grabbed my computer again if you want
Okay.
details. I don't remember the name.
But the
But it's
.org
some-
is free.
And
.org is-
that's great, and you want that in addition,
Right.
but you want the .coms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I think we need .com, but it.
You said
they
something
say
like
it was- Someone was
120?
trying to sell it for.
Well, let me look. That one was not listed.
oh, okay.
IdahoSprings.com goes to a website that has some info, but it sounds like you've done,
Just visit-
I just read the
visit Idaho
website, you did.
Yeah, just idahosprings.com. He was saying 1,500, I don't know, 4 months ago, 500, he did not bother to
That's-
get back to me.
I really
that's
like the
great.
visit.
I did
But
too.
Visit is owned by someone else.
Yeah.
I did a lot, you can look up who owns it. I mean, that is
I was seeing a
public
broker fee.
information.
Oh, you were saying
It's
a broker.
owned by domainsbyproxy.com. And they don't have,
Which is GoDaddy.
is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
So it
so,
probably.
It's
is it?
gonna be cheap.
so I mean, there's someone you would need to buy it from. It is not an open website. If you find just an open URL that nobody owns, then it's just, you just start paying $15 a year or whatever, or a month or whatever. But
So I just need to do more research. Okay.
yeah, we
It
would just
doesn't
need to
make sense to
contact
visit
them.
idahospringsco.com. I don't know. That
Yeah,
was
that's
the
what
one.
George
I think
Town
some
ended up doing.
Yeah.
And like maybe that agency would have. And I'm happy to call that guy again because apparently that's low, but if we want to visit him.
Okay.
For some reason.
So to answer your
I went to
question-
visit idahospringsco.com and it says webpage blocked. You will try to
Yeah, I'm
access
just
a
looking
webpage that is in violation of your internet usage policy.
That's,
But maybe because I'm on the
that's the
city
buildings.
internet.
Uh,
I don't know.
that one is open, visit idahospringsco.com. No, I mistyped, sorry. Springs. Yeah, that one is just open, so it's just
Wow.
$12.
Can we just
however-
buy it
No, it's
now,
good.
just
You
to
could- No, I
have
mean,
it?
here's the thing, don't get too worried about it. It's easy to be like, oh God, we gotta grab it, you know? Just think about the ones you wanna buy, think about the simple ones, do a serious look at just straight up idahosprings.com and visit idahosprings.com. Look at it, how much they cost, I'm happy to contact, sounds like you already did it though, so.
Yeah, if you wanna reach out to me, and
Yeah.
this, they're so aggressive, it's like, the most recent deal was 800,000 and he like yelled at me.
That's what their website says.
Realistically, I think that like, what are they doing with that anyway?
Nothing.
I mean, that's their entire business model.
Right,
you
yeah.
know?
I just, when you're trying to people buy up these URLs and then they try to sell them and it's their whole, it's
their
a
entire
game,
business.
and I don't think we should mess with that game.
Right?
If there's something that makes sense for us that is $15, it's just kind of, again, the blackmail thing can come into play, kind of depends, I guess, but.
Does it make sense to, like, if the visit idahosprings.co.com, if that's open, if there are reasonable prices on similar addresses, does it make sense to buy those to redirect there?
Yeah.
It does.
That's what I,
Like, you know, for
I,
like a
yeah,
$500 address, not a $5,000
yeah.
address.
And if things become available later, there's easy ways to deal with that. You can always buy the cheap one now, go ahead and get stuff built. If you get the willpower, the funding, or the price comes down on the one you really want, you can always buy it and have the old one redirect to it. It's
Yeah,
very,
with
very
the
easy to
types of
do that.
websites that we're talking about, like with Wix and Squarespace, you can change your URL.
Very easy. to
And
do.
redirect very
And have the
easily,
old
so
one
it doesn't
redirect.
screw.
For people that
Yeah.
knew the old one. Yeah. So it's easy to get really worried about it, but I wouldn't waste too much time worrying about that too much. Personally, I agree with you.
Well, I'll get with Andy and find out about purchasing those things.
Maybe we should put Colorado in it. Lots of people I talk to think Idaho Springs is in
In Idaho.
Idaho, is their first guess,
That's a nice CO at the back.
or Colorado.
IdahoSpringsColorado.com. Yeah.
All right, I'll look up some of those things, work with Kent and Andy and get some prices back to you guys. So we've been approached by AGS. Some of you guys work with AGS independently. They do the marketing for the Denver West KOA at the top of the Central City Parkway. They would like Idaho Springs to do a Idaho Springs page, a full page ad to include anybody that is not already advertising with them. Several businesses are already advertising with them one-on-one. Many are not. So he wanted to offer us a quote for a full page that would offer 10 advertisers a spot. It's $3,036 for the full page. They do all the design work for us. We of course have ad approval with them. They'd be willing, like I said, 9 to 10 advertisement spots available. We do get a lot of people from the top of the parkway. The KOA is the #1 KOA in the country. They're top rated. They bring in big business. They're sold out the entire time from the day they open their doors till the day they close their doors.
Expanding by a third.
Yeah,
this coming summer.
they're expanding this coming summer. It's a great way to pull people down versus down into Central, down into here. Obviously, we're the main place that has food and shopping options outside of the casino towns. So they're looking for a decision quickly if we're interested in pursuing this. I did explain to them marketing dollar wise that we wouldn't be able to pay them until next year. This one would be one I could work with Cass on doing a geo fence report up there to kind of hit the top of the parkway where we could be able to see how many people actually come down from the campground to come down in. We also do have another campground coming into the community that Steve and I are going to be meeting with to talk to her as well. They aren't doing any kind of print advertising, but the guide is given to every single RV and every single camper that goes in there. I've done ads from Spice and Tea's perspective every year with them. It's hard to track return on that necessarily. I guess I used to work at that KOA, so I can identify the long-term RVers pretty easily just because I know what they look like and their type. But I do see that it does work. We get to do something like mention this ad and get 10% off your order or whatever it is. I have seen it come in. It's a little bit hard because some people won't mention the ad. They come down and eat and don't say anything. So that is on the table. Questions, thoughts?
How would it work? Like, divide that 3,000 up by the 10 people, 10 businesses that we contribute to it,
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's why I'm asking you guys.
So, just so I understand, please, so there are some businesses that are already spending their own dollars and getting an ad, and then
Correct.
they're asking, not the company is asking us to do an ad. I'm wondering if it makes for us to do like what you're doing with that Ramble card, where everyone that wants to participate puts in a discount or something, some sort of incentive. And then maybe we're asking businesses to contribute. Like, I know some of the smaller businesses don't have a huge marketing budget, but they want to market, they want to participate. So if every business is asked to put in $500 that wants to participate in this ad or whatever, and extra goes into the marketing budget, we continue, but I don't know. I'm trying to think, I mean, those that are already putting their own money in shouldn't be penalized and not included, but,
It goes to every single one of their campers at KOA. So I think they have over 200 slots now, and they're expanding this summer. They're increasing their slot load quite a bit. And they're usually, I think their average stay is 2.5 days. So they rotate through a lot in the summer.
are we
So-
doing it?
And I'd like to add, I'm about to sign off here, but I want to add, Argo is doing like a half page and I think it's much more effective if we could all advertise together. And, I'd even be willing to negotiate them for like us being in the facing page to you and even doing 2 pages of slightly bigger ads, or Argo would even consider going down to one small thing. But I think we need to use the negotiating power of everyone else that is already advertising, Sadie.
Yeah, I
Somehow.
agree. I think, to my knowledge, who is currently advertising is Argo, Mountain Prime, and the Soap Shop. That is who is currently advertising. They came to me to ask me personally, Spice and Tea, to advertise. I said no, because of I had to significantly decrease my advertising budget for next year.
Right.
I said no, and then he came back and said, the owner of KOA ratted me out, honestly. And I was like, actually, did you talk to her about Idaho Springs doing an ad? And he was like, no. So then he came back to me and was like, I guess you're the person I'm supposed to talk to. And I was like, yeah, you are the person. So I like the idea of doing like an Idaho Springs ad as a whole as well, and kind of offering and not necessarily calling out specific businesses. We could do, a Visit Idaho Springs ad, design it with the concept that we're gonna have these new things. We could do that as well.
They're always on a tight time frame.
They are always on-
Every year, it's like, you gotta have it by this Friday. Like, I just said no this year. I've done it before, but the pressure and they're just sales guys.
Well, now they're out of
Feel like
town.
it got you.
Now they're out of town, so the
Okay.
pressure is kind of quote unquote off, because they're gone, and I basically said, all I could do was say, this is a quote pending us voting, so.
I did ask about doing one just for the summer or doing winter months, because in the summertime we don't need it.
Yeah,
And we don't have that option.
no, yeah, they're
Yeah, 'cause
open, they're open May through, officially open May through October.
But sorry, I talked way too much. I need to shut up, but.
They ask for payment. They ask for payment upfront, which I don't appreciate.
Yeah, I did not pay them.
What are we trying to accomplish? Because we know we're at capacity in the summertime, so are we trying to do ads in publications that are gonna drive more people here in a time where we really exceeded our capacity? Or, are we gonna talk to this Thrive group and they come up with a marketing plan that gets us the biggest bang for our buck because they have all these connections and they can leverage their connections and what they're doing with other communities. And then we just give them the money to do their thing or,
I think if it was, if it marketed towards our softer seasons, it would be money well spent. We're already at capacity for, not just for our businesses, but for parking.
Mhm.
So they can't even get in town. So that's why I didn't support this year.
I really do, somebody kind of throw out there this idea of the come visit Idaho Springs as a whole, because there's, and one thing I will say is being a smaller business, businesses that are at capacity, but a lot of the smaller ones, we're nowhere near our capacity, even in the busiest days of summer, so.
I think it could be a good opportunity for you to do a map of showing them proximity to where you are versus where the KOA is.
Yeah.
Especially for the families. KOA says they get a lot of people up there that don't want to gamble, but they don't know what else to do. We've dropped visitor guides there in the past, but again, I think it would be a supportive element to do some kind of illustration of you are here and here's everything just down the road.
Mhm.
I think it'd be a good connectivity.
And you said their season's May through October. So May, Idaho Springs always needs help through the month of May, so that doesn't hurt. And, you know, September and October, we could probably use help. I know June, July, and August, we're usually okay on our own. So maybe there are discounts in those.
yeah.
Or you could link it to your new website and have special offers during certain months.
I was also just thinking with if you have a listing of all the businesses on a website, like the one that won't be named anymore, it wouldn't be that hard to build a dynamic map from the listings. It's always updated, they can just print, you know. One of the annoying things about like listing all the businesses and where they are on a map is updating it. But if you already have all that info on the website, it wouldn't be too crazy to have it just automatically generated.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Where did we land with the Thrive conversation? Or we're just waiting on quotes, right?
Yep.
So,
Yeah, and honestly, budget, you know,
Yeah.
official green light
Yeah,
budget,
exactly.
so then I can, you know, then we can like sign
Yeah.
an agreement with Thrive and move from that direction, but yeah. First step is budget,
yeah.
second step, but right now we're just getting quotes from them, from the
Yeah.
website branding person, she's giving us a bunch of quotes,
Okay.
and then honestly, Ike's working with me offline on making sure like strategic marketing plan wise that I can come to you guys with the best questions so that we
Yeah.
can get narrow on our focus. And you know, I understand Steve's point that this might be something we want to wait to make a decision on, you know, and if that means we don't do it this year, then that means we don't do it this year. You know, the KOA guide will be there next
Yeah.
year. You know, they'll be expanding an additional 20% next year in addition, so they're phasing a big opening up at the top there, so he's adding a lot more spaces over the next 2 years. So,
With the quotes we're getting, Andy, because we're now a city board, do we have to go through an RFP process and follow procurement code, or can we hire the firm that how does that work?
Depends on the cost. Something like this, we have a lot of flexibility.
But I mean, as far as the Thrive group and like hiring a PR or marketing firm.
It depends what kind of money we're looking at. We try to get, you know, multiple quotes.
Yeah.
For things. We don't have to competitively bid till we get to like 25,000.
yeah, I don't think we'll be anywhere near that in any of these, even with Thrive, that's already, and that was already in the pre-budgeted
Yeah.
explanation that was going towards that. And mainly reason not going for quote was he's already established in the
In a case like
Okay.
that, we don't have to get bids if we make a reasonable statement about why
Got it,
we're going
okay.
with a particular vendor and it passes a smell test, if you will.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and that's fair. And something like that, you know, someone
Yeah.
that's local and knows the business, this is pretty, this is a specialty,
Yeah.
so.
Can I add one more thing for you on Central City for free? So their KOA up there, the people that work their little boutique shop are wonderful. And they typically are welcoming to information, so when we take visitor guides or brochures or anything up there. So I mean, if you decide not to pursue this, if you did some kind of, 12x18 tear off maps or something for your community, I think they would be very receptive to that, and you may be able to do something independent with 3,000 instead of just being nestled into a guide.
That's actually a really good perspective and point, you know, that we could potentially take that money and do something that's more broad spectrum, such as the tear off map or the other ideas that we've talked about, that might be better suited for this year and considering moving this ad.
That's what we did. We did free beer at purchase with their logo on it and our logo on it, and Kurt with a map on the back, cartoon, telling that.
Yeah, so, and again, I'm very close with the owners of that KOA. I know them very well. They're actually the reason that I'm in this county in general. And they would 100% be
Super nice.
100%, yeah, and he's a new Clear Creek, or he's the new city council alderman in Central for that district, so. All of that friend group, we all tend to take on too much. So I'm like, geez, check Lisa, we gotta start saying no. Okay, so it's sounding like for me, what I'm hearing from the tone of the board is probably just hold off on this for this year and maybe get more clear as we move
Wanted
forward.
to up into an RV campaign, because now we have
Two of them,
Very big, so you just.
Thinking about that as like as a campaign idea. I like that. Okay, I'll move on from that. Next thing is the weirdest thing. I just want to make sure who's online before this is the weirdest thing I've ever get to participate with, but I promised I would do it. So here we go. We have a little yellow car that all of you have seen around and about, and I have had my store leaf blowered to the extent that I can't handle it anymore. So Nicole Nemmers and I have been trying to like encourage Dan Dalps to, if you don't know who Dan Dalps is, you know, he's definitely got Alzheimer's, so he's very aware that, you know, we're all aware that he's an aged member of our community. He's a long-standing business, important stakeholder of this community. He's definitely pre-Alzheimer's and in his Alzheimer's stage of his life. So this is complicated by that situation. So I'm trying to do my due diligence here. He wants to donate the little yellow car to the city. In the process of this, Nicole Nemmers and I were trying to be creative with him and help him, try to get into a nonprofit, try to find the right solution. It has been very challenging. He, in the same day, talked to Nicole and I, and he was like, I just want a place to store it for the winter. And Nicole and I both unfortunately said the same thing. And we said, you know, we don't really know, but you know, who might know a good spot is you should talk to Steve. Well, then he then dropped the keys to the yellow cart and the yellow cart in the middle of the street at Tommy Knuckers and left. So Steve has the little yellow cart.
I do not want it.
He doesn't want it. We need to donate it to a nonprofit. The city is not a nonprofit. We need to donate it to a 501c. This might be a perfect example of, we do have a business, Nicole Nemmers wants the cart. She'll take it and do her own thing with it and use it on Minor as a display, as a picture element, all these things. This might be a good method for us to go through the chamber, where the chamber is sitting on the shelf as a 501c that we have. So we could potentially accept the donation through the chamber, and then we could then have Nicole program this thing to be on Minor. She has a garage that she can store said cart in. She's willing to drive it down to the district once Minor Street is closed. I will tell you, it was parked outside of my shop most of the summer, and it does get a lot of really great attention, and everybody wants to take a damn picture with the thing, and
It was at my house for a while too.
you
like,
could
people like
eventually, I mean,
that.
you could figure out a way to like turn it into like a fundraiser for Mountain Youth or something. There's a lot of potentials to figure out something to do with it, but
Is she willing to pay for it?
I mean, she is willing to make a donation for it. Again, if we're gonna put it in, so the problem is that when she tried to pay Dan for it, Dan wants to donate it. And he's very firm that he wants it donated to the city.
Has anyone got Mary Ann's
Yeah.
opinion on this?
Yeah, I've talked to,
Okay,
I've
I'm
talked
just
to
making
Mary
sure.
Ann in length about this. She says as long as that it appears that it's going to the city and the city is utilizing it in such functions, that she does not foresee him creating long-term problems about this. But he seems extraordinarily firm that he wants the city because of its history. I included the letter for all of you in your packet to read. Because of its history, he's very insistent and is not willing to budge on that it needs to go to the city. So, board, yellow card, mayor?
I'm sorry. If I may,
Yes.
it's just, I think we have a very friendly group that all wants the exact same thing. It's just a thought, because I think they're very, shall I say, civic minded.
Yeah.
The Historical Society, has a very ancient 100-year-old car, that is on display in the visitor center. I think, there's a set of double doors, by this car. And it may be interesting, they like rotating exhibits, to have this little 3-foot wide early version of a neighborhood electric vehicle by the 100-year-old car. They're a legit nonprofit. And I am very, very confident they would be delighted after the donation is accepted by this legitimate nonprofit and has the tax write-off, to just donate it back to the city. Everybody gets their way. The city would end up with a car, Dan will have a legitimate tax deduction, and we'll all put it to good use. And it can spend most of its time in downtown. And again, I think the Historical Society would probably like that contrast of the old and the newer generation attempt at an electric vehicle as a rotating display. It'd be win-win for everyone. So
Can be
that,
pulled up
that's-
a special event still.
yeah. So that's just that'd be very easy to work with, I can assure you.
If he's okay with that, I feel like, I almost feel like that's his choice, you know, if that can be.
No, he's already donated it, so his hands are essentially, he's just waiting.
Okay.
Is that
Yeah.
Tommyknockers?
Yeah.
It is,
I'm
he,
trying to get out of there.
he dropped the
It's just
keys
like a
at
concept.
Tommyknockers and he's just waiting for his tax ID.
And I'm sorry, one more thing, PD did offer, because of its diminutive size, to store it down at the garage, because frankly, even if it's in one of the car bays, it's not gonna prevent a car from parking there, right? It's just so tiny.
Yeah, so we currently are in, well, Steve is in possession of this and Dan is just awaiting a tax donation letter from however, and really Mary Ann is, cause he's now officially like moved on. I mean, it was like literally, I had to hide from him for weeks because he was like, when is the meeting? When is the meeting? I'm like, I know.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Through the Historical Society might be the best way to just get that through. And then if PD is willing to.
Yeah, I mean, we should just send a chief over, you can drive it back.
Oh, he's
Can we
gone.
decorate it for the bike parade?
Then, well, I don't know, will it
Bikes
make
will
it?
outrun it.
The bikes will outrun it for sure.
The thing
goes
is actually
so-
pretty- It's pretty sporty.
Well,
I think, yeah.
you drove, he drove it for trunk or treat. He dressed it up like a pumpkin. It was great.
Yeah, someone wants a grand marshal on that thing. Just backtracking a little on the bike parade, the one of the petty cats is up and running, so we're trying to figure out having that. I can't drive them, like, I don't know, I can't balance it properly, but yeah. Yeah, so one of them is electrified so that it's functional.
Oh, so we have it's ready back?
It's ready, my husband fixed it.
But you can't drive it.
I was struggling.
I can't drive.
I wouldn't
be
trust myself
It's
either.
off topic, but just.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, so I will approach the Historical Society and see if we can manage to finagle this, but Steve, if you wanna work with Chief and see if we can get it out of Tommyknockers, I'm so sorry. I just wanna apologize in advance. That was not my intention. I literally said, please go talk to Steve about storage solution. And that was not my intention. And then unfortunately, Nicole pretty much told him the same thing in the same day, and then before you knew it, like, Nicole was texting me being like, oops, and I'm like, and Steve's calling me, what is this car? I'm like, sorry.
Our issue is, this is totally typical, put it in there and we'll break it. You know, something will go wrong and then we have to.
Yeah. Well, we can move it over to PD
Should we
and
wait
then,
there till the bike parade is over?
Oh, yeah.
It's not in the way, but another 2 weeks, it's not a big deal.
Okay.
I can see Jeff driving it out, right?
Yeah, maybe it could be the grand marshal and they're looking for the case.
Grand Marshal.
I like it. The yellow thing is the grand marshal. Oh, yes, reindeer
Just
antlers.
like a red nose and reindeer antlers in the tail.
Oh, it could be the grand marshal reindeer, yellow reindeer, Idaho Springs yellow reindeer. Love it. Okay, well, thank you guys for being patient on my very weird request and being excellently supportive in this.
I think Janine was like confused when I think you called her Jeannie,
Oh,
but if you needed her vote. I
no,
think
and her name is Jeannie Kim on the board. Not Janine from,
Okay,
Jeannie is a
Okay.
board member.
maybe
Yes, so-
Janine was concerned that you were trying to reach her.
No,
Okay.
not. Different Janine.
Okay.
Yes, no, thank you for that, Tumka, I appreciate it. Okay, so that is all for new business. On the open floor, one thing I wanna say is that Annie, the mayor, and I sat through assistant city administrator interviews this morning, which was great. Dylan gave tours and Andy, the mayor, and I did a panel interview with the top 4 candidates. We had a great applicant pool. I was very impressed by every single one of the applicants. I feel like most of them would be very, very qualified. I will tell you, I asked a significant amount of questions around grants. I asked a lot of questions around grants, grant experience, especially the mayor, definitely was very focused on federal grants, making sure they understood this distinction and the difficulty. Andy talked a lot about the complex nature of everything that they're overseeing. So anything else you want to say about that?
Nope, we have our preferred candidate and now it'll be just going to the next stage of reference checks and background, and coming up with an offer and see where that goes.
So ready to pick one of the 4.
Yes, but we did rank them, so for some reason, the top candidate, turns it down or doesn't work out, we do have another candidate as well.
And we would any of them would be.
Yeah.
More than qualified and good at it.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Any open floor conversations, comments, anybody online have any specific questions, comments, concerns?
I have a thought on your rainbow card, but I can follow up with you.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sadie, for being awesome and doing all of these things that you're doing.
You're welcome. Happy to help. Happy to help. Okay. Well, is it Mayor? Do you have anything else you want to say?
No, thank you. I'm just sitting back, taking all this in. And I would say that the marketing PR folks, I was absolutely blown away. And when I say spend money to make money, these people, they bring just a whole new level of science to it. So I'm making this up, but if you identified a certain neighborhood within a zip code that you have seen based on cell phone data, like visiting Idaho Springs, and you happen to know they spend a lot more than most other folks, then you can like geofence that area and start having targeting ads. And for example, those banner ads that might be at the top of a site they're visiting, 1 to 2 pennies is all it is. I mean, this is down to just, it's a bit scary, I'll admit, but I just want to say, I left that meeting as Stephen and Lindsay were alluding to earlier. And boy, politicians overuse the term excited, but I have to use it. It was absolutely stunning. I was very impressed. And I think our council goes from the extreme left to the extreme right, but they all believe in proof and dollars and cents. And when they're shown, and they can be shown, I think in quite intricate detail, where we have spent money to make money, I think they too will be very supportive of moving forward. So anyways, I just want to share that good news with you. I could not have been more pleased.
Any other things, Andy? You good?
So, next
Okay.
meeting, right?
Yep, next meeting is December 16th. The small group that's been doing the holiday ramble, I do feel like a meeting this week would be beneficial for us. So for those that have been participating in that committee, just know that you're gonna be getting an email from me today that's gonna be like, hey, let's find a time where we can all jump on Zoom and make sure we have all the details hammered out and Tara feels ready and well in hand to run the event while I'm gone. So we'll do that meeting, and then the next meeting of this board will be December 16th at 2 p.m. here at City Hall and virtually. And I'm officially adjourning this meeting at 3:48. Thank you guys.